Now we're going to talk about the complete video. And the complete video just goes back to what we learned in GIT 315. We have pre-production, production, and post-production. And pre-production is that very important planning section of production, the whole production, right? We need to know what we're doing, where we're going, who's in it, when we're going to do it, where we're going to do it. So those are all those pre-production documents, such as scripts and storyboards and outlines and logistics plans. And if you're doing interviews, going and scouting out, either way, they're actually make sure you're scouting out your locations. All that pre-production is key to having something that is going to be a nice production, right? And then you get into actual production, and having that planned out as well is key and essential. Where and when it's all going to happen. Do you have all your equipment? Have you tested all your equipment? Does everybody know where they're supposed to be, when, and what days, right? And so once you get all those production things done, you go into post-production, where you bring together all your assets. So not just the video and audio that you captured, but also any graphics that you need, any still photos that you need, motion graphics that you need, animations, whatever you need. Those things have to all be gathered. Music, sound effects, those kind of things. And then you'll be to the point where you can actually start sitting down and thinking about, how am I going to edit this together? And if you have a script and you have a plan, editing is much easier, because you already know where you're going with your the stuff that you have created. So that's the idea of a complete video. So at this point, you'll be able to wrap it up and create something great. Right now, I'm going to show you an example of a small documentary style video. This is about Emma Meister, although her name is something else now because she got married. She's actually a former GIT student, a graduate. And you can see here, I've muted her audio, but you can see here that I have several clips from different pieces of her interview stuck together. I have put B-roll over the places where it transitions, so I don't have any jump cuts. For example, if I didn't have this here, it would jump cut from right there to right there. That is not what we want. So I put a B-roll of her doing her calligraphy, because that's what she does, and now it looks like this. Right, so there's no jump cut. Another way you can do it, I did it just at the beginning of a few of them, but you could also put the B-roll over the top of them. You guys should know all this, right? So that we're not seeing those jump cuts. Don't want to see any jump cuts. If you do a documentary style, you need to include lower thirds. This I just created with the title tool right here, and then I open up captions and graphics and go to the edit tab, and you can see that there's my text right there, and I can do lots of stuff here. Just as a reminder, you do not have to use, you should not necessarily use whatever the default font is. So I kind of like that, and I can, obviously change the colors or whatever I want to do. I'll just leave it white. And then if I wanted to, I might make part of it smaller than the other, right? Her name's bigger, right? So that looks a little cooler than just a plain sans serif font, right? So make sure you do that. Make sure if you need transitions, that you remember your transitions. It's good to start with one on the front. So let me go back to editing. It's good to start with one on the front and one on the back. Well, and if you, I think we've learned this in another lesson, that if you select them all and then do a Command or Control D, it'll put transitions on everything. I don't want that, so I'm just actually gonna go through and delete the ones in between. I just want it on the front and the back, and there is a shortcut for that. I just don't remember. That was in my presentation, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. And then I probably would want to do this one as well. There we go, and there we go. So now we have a nice little, doesn't have to be fancy. There you go. Okay, and then if we need to sweeten up her audio. So I'm going to go ahead and turn her up and select everything. And then I'm going to go to audio. And I'm going to, actually I'm going to do, I put this as a link in this module, but I'll just quickly go through it. Because these are all dialogue, she's talking, we're going to tag it as dialogue. And then when we do that, we get all these tools for changing it. The best way, what I have found, is to use this preset right here. Let's listen to her here. Whoops, sorry, kind of turn down there.
I can do. I think people like calligraphy.
There's a little bit of noise in the room, so we can repair it by just saying reduce noise.
They like custom stuff.
You can tell it's flattened her down a little bit, and then I like to use subtle boost female.
And my mom's always like, well, if you write...
So that, while reducing the noise, got rid of all the sort of the hissy that's in the back. The subtle boost brought her up. I might actually take that down a little bit.
The word Emma.
Remember that we want our audio to be right in between -6 dB and -12 dB. That's the sweet spot. All right. And then if these were different people talking, I could grab them all and then, let's see, like click that, make them all their levels, their audio, how loud they are, match by clicking, making sure I have them all selected and clicking auto match, and it would match them pretty close to each other. So for example, if one clip was recorded lower, or the person just talked softer and someone was louder, it would find a happy medium for all your clips. So that's a really good thing. And then if you need to turn up everything, you can use this clip volume down here. And there's some really other fun things too. If you have, if there's like a low rumble, you can do that. If people's S's and P's are popping, you can de-S it. This is the big one. This is the one that probably most people will get the use out of, is the reduce reverb. And that is just if you've recorded in an echoey room, you got to echo, try using that and it will take a lot of that echo out. All right. The other thing I wanted to, and of course you know how to put music on, and just a reminder of how to duck it. So let's see. I got a piece of music here. I'm going to stick it right there. Let me just, there's a couple of things I want to show you. First of all, if my video is only that long and I want my music to match my video, I can use this thing called Remix. Let me go back over here first before we do that. All right, so this is my regular editing. If I go in here under this one right here where the ripple tool is, the last one is the Remix tool. And what it does is, if you use it to resize your video, your audio, it will actually, you can see it doing it. It redoes the music to fit your video so that it ends nicely. So here I have this. Whoops, it's too loud. We need to duck it, but you can see. It's pretty close to where I would want it. Now I also want to make sure that I duck it. So I'm going to click it and then that is music. So it already has identified it as music, so that's cool. And now I want to duck that against the conversation. And that just means, let me zoom in here. That just means that the audio will be automatically lowered when someone is talking, and then it will go up when someone is not talking. So this one will mostly be lowered because, here, let me move this over. This one will be mostly lowered because she's talking all the time. But so let's do it. We're going to tell it to go ahead and generate some keyframes. And I'll move this so you can see what happens. So that's, those little zigzags are what happens when you do that audio remix. And then we're going to generate some keyframes. And now you can see that the audio levels change. They're mostly up. It may be still a little bit loud. Let's try it.
It just has that different vibe.
Yeah, so I would think that's a little loud. So I would just come in and turn this down a little bit.
Vibe of like handwriting. So it's
You have to hit this really sweet spot here.
much more unique and special and custom. I would love,
Right? And then at the end,
love to literally do wedding signs all day long.
it comes back up. If she had pauses in between when she spoke, the music would come up and go lower when she starts talking again. So that's a very quick, down and dirty introduction to the sound panel. But I'm providing some, and I think you got introduced to it in 3.15, but it's been updated since that video was made. So those things are what make a video complete. Now this is a very small one, but you can see, let's just play some of it.
My name is Emma Mester, and I am a hand lettering artist, and my business is called Etchings by Emma. I do calligraphy and custom projects for anyone that needs it.
I would actually move this over. It's too far. But those little things polish a video, right? And that's what we want. We want something that is polished and professional looking.
And my mom's always like,
the students who did this are very accomplished, so I don't expect perfection, but I have seen some amazing things come out of the online students without much equipment, and that's what I'm hoping I'll see this time too.